everyone. Hello and welcome to the Full Moon in Leo Releasing Workshop. I'm Phaedra. I'm the artist and astrologer of Mystic, Physick, Astrology, and I use Western sidereal astrology in my practice to help you reconnect with your soul purpose and to remember why you came into this life to begin with. And if you'll give me just one moment, I'm going to refresh my browser and pull the broadcast up on my laptop here just so that I can catch questions or comments as they come through while we're live for the full moon releasing practice. I'm really excited to have y'all join me. Let's see. That looks like it right there. Let me make sure I have this muted. All right. And so there's our comments, but welcome. So my aim with the lunar living broadcasts, with the new and full moon practices that we do, my aim is really to provide guidance on how you can consciously use the energy of the transiting planets to affect your life in a positive way. And so that's really the main thrust of what our practices are. Thanks for joining us, Rosalind. It's good to see you on. And how do you say your name? Is it Shilia? If I'm saying that right, you can let me know. But if you need to look up your sidereal sign placements, here is a link to the online calculator. This is using the 𝘂 zodiac, which is what we're working with tonight. But you may want to know. Let me see if that showed up in the comments. Did it work? Or do I have I might have my keyboard turned off. Sometimes I do that because my cat will walk on it. Give me just a second. I think we got this, but you'll want to look up your 𝘂 placements. There we go. I must not have copied it to the clipboard. Operator error, right? So tonight with the full moon in Leo, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of explore areas where we might be avoiding leadership in our lives, ways that we might be giving away our own power. And we're going to be looking into releasing what's no longer bringing us pleasure, okay? So that we can really more fully step into being the creators of our own lives, to being the conscious creators of our own lives. And so that's really the whole idea behind tonight's practice. So what I'll do at the beginning of the broadcast here, first I'll talk a little bit about this particular full moon in Leo. And then we'll get into the house and themes of each house by rising sign. And then after we cover that at the end, we'll talk about the archetype and the themes of Leo itself, and we'll go through some releasing prompts. So I'm glad to have you all with me. So this particular full moon in Leo, there's a little bit extra going on with this full moon in terms of other aspects. And so really what we're seeing is the chance for disappointment or consequences to come out of some kind of revelation. But on the flip side, we're also seeing an opportunity for redemption, for forgiveness and redemption near this particular full moon. And so if you need to forgive someone, or you feel you need to be forgiven for something, this can be an excellent opportunity to kind of seek that forgiveness within yourself or within someone else. But really the main idea is this is an excellent time to be focusing on serving others from the heart rather than serving ourselves. And so really try to keep that foremost in your mind during this particular full moon. And remember too, I want to call this out, some folks are still going to be feeling the lingering effects of the January eclipses in February and March, and that will happen near the lunations when we have the luminaries transiting the degrees of the eclipse in the neighboring signs. And so if you have a planet or point, this is where you're going to want to look at your sidereal natal chart. If you have a planet or personal point near 20 degrees of a fire or air sign, or near 5 or 6 degrees-ish of a water or earth sign, you may have been affected by either the solar eclipse in Sagittarius or the lunar eclipse in Cancer that we had in January. And so you'll want to keep an eye on these dates, okay? You may receive news from the eclipse. And eclipse news is quite often news that you don't have any ability to control. You just have to react to it. You have to respond to it, and you have to choose how you're going to respond to it. And oftentimes it is some sort of event or news that heralds permanent change that you just kind of have to adapt to. So if you do have something going on at one of those points of your chart, like I said, 20 degrees of an air or fire sign, or 5 or 6 degrees of a water or earth sign, keep an eye on the days kind of right around this full moon, and then the new and full moons as well, coming up in March. But getting into the houses and the rising signs, if you have Aries rising, grab your pen and paper in case you want to jot this down. If you're familiar enough with the houses that you don't need this reminder, that's fantastic. But if you have Aries rising by the Fagan Bradley zodiac, then this is a 5th house full moon for you. So that's creativity and children. These are Leo themes, right? Romance and true love, pleasurable activities, hobbies, sports, risk-taking and gambling, things that we do for pleasure, for fun, right? These are 5th house activities. If you have Taurus rising, this is going to be a 4th house full moon for you. So home and family, real estate matters fall under the 4th house. Also the later life and your parents, one or both parents, can be signified by the 4th house as well. And then if you have Gemini rising, this is going to be a 3rd house full moon for you. So transportation and writing, communication, travel, that's going to happen locally to you. Childhood education falls under the 3rd house. And as do your neighbors and your immediate environment. So your neighbors actually in some extended family. So your cousins, aunts and uncles, your siblings, those are all governed by the 3rd house. If you have Cancer rising, this is a 2nd house full moon for you. So this is wealth and possessions, movable assets, earned income, expenses that you have. And then the 2nd house can also deal with issues around your personal values and what you hold dear, what your priorities are, and your sense of self-worth. Okay, so you may find themes of that nature coming up with this particular full moon in Leo. And then if you have Leo rising, of course, this is a 1st house full moon for you. So having to do with themes of personality and identity, self-expression in your physical body, your appearance, but also your role in the world, the way that you interact with your environment. These are 1st house themes. Your behaviors and mannerisms, those are 1st house themes. So you may find those arising for you with this particular full moon. If you have Leo rising, if you have Virgo rising, it's going to be a 12th house full moon for you. So this is privacy and seclusion. This is more spiritual. This is the unconscious mind, highly personal or private projects, solo projects, things that you're working on yourself. Or things that you're working on in private behind closed doors. Spiritual practices can be governed by the 12th house, as can any work that you do or associations that you have with institutions of seclusion. So things like hospitals or nursing homes, boarding schools, correctional facilities, things like that. And then for Libra, this is 11th house full moon for you. So friends, organizations, hopes and dreams, which is one of my favorite areas to work with. And then of course, for Scorpio, this is a 10th house full moon. So career, your professional life, awards and recognition, your achievement, your ambitions, right? And also status and reputation are 10th house themes. For Sagittarius, this is a 9th house full moon for you. So higher education, long distance travel, long distance communication. So things like publishing and broadcasting. Also religion, philosophy, law. These are 9th house themes. And then for Capricorn, 8th house full moon for you. If you have Capricorn rising, this is other people's resources. So monies that come to you through other people in your life, things like investment earnings or insurance monies, taxes, inheritance. These are 8th house matters. Bonus and commission income falls under the 8th house, as well as lottery winnings, windfall money, right? And also the occult, death, rebirth, transformation. Those are also 8th house themes. And then for Aquarius, this is a 7th house full moon for you. So partnership, this is marriage and business, relationships with others in general. And if we're talking about the descendant specifically, it points to what we reject about ourselves or project onto other people. So the descendant is a good place to start for like shadow work, if you're wanting to do shadow work. And then finally, for Pisces rising, this is a 6th house full moon for you. So this has to do with work, health, your daily routines and habits, your schedule. Can have to do with your diet, your pets or employees. If you have pets or employees, those are also governed by the 6th house. So for anyone who's joining us late, or if you're catching the replay, if you're not quite sure what's going on, leave me questions in the comments. If you're joining us late on the live stream and you need me to recap for you what house this particular full moon is falling in for you by rising sign, just let me know in the comments what your sidereal rising sign is, and I'll recap that for you. And there's a link in the comments as well if you need to look up your sidereal natal chart to see what that rising sign is. And in the meantime, let's talk a little bit about Leo archetypes and Leo themes. So Leo is fixed fire. Okay, so this is like banked coals. This is the long, slow burn, if you can envision it that way. Leo rules the heart. You've heard the phrase lion-hearted, right? It's ruled by the sun. That's the planetary body governing the sign of Leo. And this is why, as the natural ruler of the 5th house, Leo also rules love and the activities that we do for pleasure. This describes our lifelong love affairs with people and with our hobbies, the activities that we're passionate about, right? So Leo can also represent the artist, the actor, the king or the leader of the people. It's the archetype of the golden child. Leo desires recognition, and so these archetypes are really informed by that strong need for love and attention, and also are informative of what we associate with Leo as having that sunny disposition, right? But Leo also embodies our very intense creative urge in many, many ways. Not only the urge to have children, but the urge to create art, to create things in the material world that don't exist except from within our imagination, right? So Leo describes our creativity and our problem-solving abilities, our leadership abilities, and our leadership style. And Leo also embodies the will, our will, right? And so keeping these things in mind, what I want you to do is grab your pen and paper and kind of considering the area of life governed by the house that Leo occupies in your natal chart. I want you to kind of consider, what don't you love anymore? What is it that no longer brings you the kind of pleasure it once did, but yet that you continue to do, keep, or give your attention to in some way? I want you to consider, what or where in life are you giving away your will or giving away your power? Where might you be resisting or avoiding leadership in some way? And why? What fear or what other thing is it that's holding you back here in this space? Okay. Consider, what have you created, or what do you need to create that you're resisting putting out into the world? What is it that you're putting off creating because that would mean you have to put yourself out into the world? What is the source of your stage fright? And so what I want you to do is write down, as you think through some of these prompts, what it is that you're ready to let go of and to move beyond in this particular area of life on your piece of paper. And I'll recap these prompts just really quickly. But I want you to kind of keep in mind that now can be a good time to metaphorically let go of someone or something which is outside of our control, outside of our responsibility or concern, to let go of a situation or other drama, or to release our attachment to an outcome or a condition or a circumstance surrounding that person or that situation. Okay? So I'll recap these prompts just real quick, and then we'll spend a moment and write out what it is we're releasing with tonight's full moon. So consider, what is it that you don't love anymore, that no longer brings you pleasure like it once did, but that you continue to do, keep, or give your attention to in some way? To what or where in life are you giving away your will or your power? What are you where are you resisting or avoiding leadership in your life, and why? What fear or other thing is holding you back? What have you created that you're resisting putting out into the world? What are you putting off creating because it would mean putting yourself out into the world? What's the source of your stage fright? Okay, and so write down on your paper what it is you're ready to let go of and move beyond, and then we'll come back here in just a minute to share, if you will, in the comments what it is you're letting go of, and then we'll do our releasing. Tough one. Hi, Rosalind. How are you? I'm going to scroll back up and read your first comment. She says, laughing out loud, Moon is in my 12th house on my ascendant right now and will be right on my ascendant conjunct Lilith during the full moon. I need to forgive my therapist for lying to me all this time, admitted that she was basically pretending to believe things I told her, as I found out last week, mental health related in parentheses. Tomorrow I'm going to confront her and also be done with therapy for good. 13 years of counseling, no thanks, I can figure it out. You know, some days it feels like that, doesn't it? Like you make more progress on your own. She continues, I mean, yeah, long story short, I'm willing to forgive her, but she needs to hear my honest confrontation, so hopefully she doesn't repeat this mistake to anyone else. I'm so hurt. I feel so rejected, but I also want to reject her for rejecting me when I tried to trust her. I don't love therapy anymore, and it doesn't deserve my attention anymore. Thanks to Lilith, I'm not going to avoid putting off standing up for myself this time. I'm finished. And I think, Rosalind, that speaks a little bit to what I talked about with a revelation bringing the risk of disappointment or consequences. Excuse me, that was 𝘄𝗶𝘀𝗀 leaping up the cat tree in one jump. Sorry about that distraction. Let's see. Rosalind says, also, I apologize to anyone if it ever seems like I take up anyone's chance to speak. My Aries Mercury is always just ready to go. No, you're more than welcome to always take up space speaking on my feed and on these broadcasts, Rosalind. I appreciate it. And I know that others take inspiration and comfort from our words when we share them. And there's room for everyone. So I will always go through and read anyone's comments who wants to share them on the broadcast. And I'm sorry to hear that you've been better, and I do hope things continue to turn around. So keep in mind, Rosalind, I know we talked about this a little bit in January, and we haven't talked a lot about it since. We are going through this transition phase. So if you're one of the folks with a planet or personal point that's contacting the eclipse degree, we have one series of eclipses ending right now and another beginning. So potentially what you're seeing is a transition from a set of circumstances coming into its resolution, its final stage where you can really just get adjusted to this is the way life is going to be from here on out. Or you may be experiencing the beginning of a new phase that would be lasting, in all likelihood, 12 to 18 months as it progresses through the following stages. So you know your chart best and your life best to be able to tease out which of those might apply to you. It really kind of depends on which eclipse you might have contact with. And of course, other things going on in your chart. But just kind of keep that in mind. Like if you take some time and maybe have a look at it and see if you kind of can't piece together which of those things is going on for you, because that might give you some insight into what you can expect going forward. Brandon says, hi, Jupiter and Sagittarius North Node in Cancer, Saturn needs my respect. Yes. Hello and welcome to the broadcast, Brandon. Yes, exact square to my sun, Venus from the eclipse. Oh, that's a challenge. 18 months. So yes, so eclipse cycles tend to last 12 to 18 months on average. They can last up to 2 years as we go through a series of eclipses that happen every 6 months in the same set of signs. And we just ended our Cancer Capricorn series in January on the 20th, 21st. I think we had our last full moon in Cancer, a lunar eclipse. And then we had our, no, not our first. I want to say our second, but don't quote quote me on that because I'd have to go back and look at my notes from 6 months ago. But I think this is our second eclipse in the Gemini Sagittarius series that began mid-year last year. So right around July of last year. And that one I believe is going to continue until January of next year. But I may need to double check that. We needed to really do an eclipse broadcast in January, and I didn't do one. I didn't get the time because I was preparing to go to the 𝘄PH conference. And so I apologize for that. So I'm kind of rusty on the dates that are significant for this particular eclipse season. And I apologize. I hope to not have a repeat of that. My goal is to have an eclipse broadcast every year going forward. Or every year, every season going forward, so that we can know what dates and what degrees are significant. So let me share with you. I wrote down two things, and one is kind of personal, and I don't know that I'm comfortable sharing it. So I think I'll keep that one to myself. But I wrote another one that I will share with you. Let's see if I made any kind of coherent sense at all here. So I wrote that. So I have this opportunity to explore a new kind of a partnership opportunity, a collaborative opportunity that really could have a significant impact. Hi, Allison. It's good to see you. Could really have an impact on what I can bring to all of you as readers and as part of my audience. And it's really kind of exciting. But I feel that I'm potentially entering an experience that requires a great deal of trust, interpersonal trust, right? And so what I want to be clear about is as I embark on this opportunity, on this journey, that I release any hesitation I may be harboring at entering into new collaborative projects and new writing projects at this time, and that I'm willing to let go of any fear that I might be harboring around collaborating with other co-creators. And I really want to kind of put that out there. Like I can't say I've done the exploratory work to see, is there really something there, hesitation-wise or fear-wise? But I just want to be clear that even if there is, this is a situation where I feel it's appropriate to do it scared. Just do it anyway, even though you may be afraid of something that's outside your comfort zone or a little bit outside what your normal boundaries are. Like, that's how we expand our comfort zone, right? Through discomfort. And so I think that this is just an opportunity for me to say that if there is discomfort there, I release it. I'm going to do, I'll do this anyway, and just trust the result, trust the outcome, trust the universe to guide me in the direction that I need to go. Allison says that's exciting and that I should go for it. And I very much feel the same way. And so this is what we're letting go of tonight, at least on my end. So what you're going to do is you're going to take what you wrote out on your piece of paper. I burn mine. You don't have to burn yours. You can tear it up. It's just the symbolic act of releasing that's important, that reinforces that energetic intention, right? And so when you're finished, what you're going to do is you're going to take your piece of paper to a fire safe place to burn it. Now this could be your kitchen sink or a fireplace or a fire pit or barbecue if you have something like that. And as you tear this up or burn it, you're just going to state aloud your intention to release whatever it is you're letting go of, whether it's a thought or a behavior or a belief. And so here we go. Repeating after me. So this is your template. I release this behavior, pattern, habit, limiting belief, thought, situation, behavior, person, whatever it is, which is no longer serving me. I release it with my gratitude for the lessons which it brought to me, and I release it with love. So I release my hesitation at entering any new collaborative or joint projects or new writing projects. I release any fear of collaborating with other co-creators with love and gratitude for whatever it may have taught me or brought me. And if you're burning it, I do encourage you to burn it completely so it doesn't burn all the way. You may need to relight a part of it. This one is going up really good. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. That went well. See, all in one fell swoop. There we go. Just done. That's it feels good, doesn't it? Just to kind of let go. Just kind of let go. So it's a full moon. Full moons are good for wrapping up things. So if you are in the final stages of something, we have this really kind of nice interplay in the last day or two between Venus and Saturn that I really think is nice for putting like high quality last minute touches on whatever you're wrapping up with this full moon, because whatever you're doing is likely to have longevity. It's likely to have staying power. So make sure that it's up to your standards, I guess is what I'm saying, right? Rosalind says, I think it could be good for you. It does sound like a good opportunity. And I think so as well, Rosalind. So we're still kind of exploring, like, what does this look like? Where does it go? We'll see. It's very exciting, though, I have to say that. And Rosalind also says, I have a whole list of things to burn and to let go of. Yes, and do it. Burn all the things. Let go of all the things. Remember, you can do this for your sun sign too, so don't just do it for your rising sign. You can do this practice for your sun sign too and get double the pleasure out of it. I don't really have anything else for you folks tonight other than to go ahead and read up on your February overview and short reports. If you haven't, I apologize. There are no full horoscopes by sign this month published yet. I don't know if there will be. I haven't completed writing them, and partly it's because of scheduling disruptions with the conference. So we'll kind of see. I don't know if that'll come together or if I'll just take it as an opportunity to jump in and get a head start on March. But if you haven't, like I said, read your February overview and short reports at mystickphysick.com/sidereal-monthly-horoscopes. And be sure also to subscribe to the new YouTube channel, and that way you won't ever miss a broadcast. And we'll see you again next week for our Sidereal Insights Astro update on Monday at 1:30. Thanks again. Bye.